everyone! Minasan, konnichiwa. Would you like to learn how to talk about the environment in English? The environment is a very important topic that has been in the news a lot lately. And you can hear things such as global warming, climate change, and so on. Welcome to Jen's Jyugyou. My name is Jen, and today I'm going to teach you some useful vocabulary that you can use to talk about the environment. This is vocabulary that you can hear on the news a lot, vocabulary that has been at the center of some political platforms, and vocabulary that is usually on tests like the IELTS test or TOEFL test. So, get ready to learn about the environment. When we talk about the environment in English, what we are referring to is the world, the globe, and how nature and natural processes are being affected by humans. Okay? So when we talk about the environment, it specifically is talking about how humans are interacting with and changing the atmosphere and changing the world around them. So environment is a noun, and there are two adjectives that we often use with the word environment. One of them is environmental. Environmental is an adjective connected to the environment. We specifically use this word with environmental issues, talking about the problems that exist within the environment. And this is where you will hear the words such as global warming or climate change or pollution. The other adjective that we make from environment is environmentally. Environmentally is also an adjective from environment. And we specifically use this adjective when we talk about something being environmentally friendly, right? So recycling is usually seen as environmentally friendly, something that is good for the environment. There's one other noun connected to environment as well, and this is an environmentalist. Environmentalist. An environmentalist is a person who really cares about the environment and wants to do all that they can to raise awareness of environmental issues. A very famous environmentalist who's been in the news lately is the Swedish girl, Greta Thunberg. I'll talk to you a little bit more about her later in the lesson. One of the biggest environmental issues these days is pollution. Pollution is what is contributing to a lot of major environmental issues. Pollution basically means all of the waste, the garbage, the rubbish that is being produced. Some major things that are connected to pollution are smog. Okay? Smog is similar to fog, but basically it is pollution, thick pollution that is in the air, and it makes it hard for you to breathe. It makes the air quality decrease. Another environmental issue is deforestation. Deforestation is cutting down many trees. You might have heard the expression clear cutting, which is when forest companies, wood companies, go and they just cut down huge areas of forest, which is very bad for the environment because we need trees. Another issue is acid rain. All of the air pollution that we are creating is getting sucked into the water cycle. So when it rains, there are chemicals such as carbon dioxide and acid in the rain, which is causing things to break down, to deteriorate, which is bad for the environment. One of the other really big environmental issues caused from pollution is climate change. Okay? So climate change means that there is so much pollution in the environment that the weather all around the world is changing. Temperatures are becoming much colder or much hotter than usual. Usually much hotter than usual. The type of climate change where the weather is becoming hotter and hotter all the time is called global warming. Global warming is all across the world, temperatures are rising. Icebergs are melting, sea levels are rising, and it's having a major impact on humans and also animals. Natural habitats are being destroyed and there are more disasters occurring as a result. Habitat means a place where someone lives. So the natural habitat of animals is being destroyed by climate change, global warming, and pollution. Scientifically, global warming is occurring as a result of toxic means poisonous, toxic gases being released into the environment, which is causing these changes. So some of these toxic gases, we often refer to them as greenhouse gases, and one of the biggest greenhouse gases is caused by carbon dioxide. Okay? Carbon dioxide is produced when fossil fuels are being burned. Fossil fuels means a type of energy, natural energy, such as gas or oil that is being used. So when you're using things like gas or oil, they are called fossil fuel. And when you use them, they are putting gas into the atmosphere, which is creating pollution. I mentioned that one of the biggest gases that is part of these greenhouse gases is carbon dioxide. And this is where the expression carbon footprint comes in. Maybe you have heard the expression carbon footprint in the news. So footprint is when you are walking, specifically on sand or mud, you leave an impression of your foot in the soil, right? It's a footprint. You're leaving that footprint behind as you continue on your way. So this is where the idea of carbon footprint comes from. Carbon footprint means the amount of pollution that you are personally responsible for. Okay? The amount of fossil fuels, gases, and other pollution that you are personally creating is called your carbon footprint, because it is what you are leaving behind. The results of your actions are being left behind for future generations. Your actions affect the environment for everyone. So one way to reduce your carbon footprint is by walking or riding your bicycle instead of taking a car. I mentioned before the environmental activist from Sweden, the young 16-year-old girl, Greta Thunberg. She refuses to fly in an airplane because she wants to reduce her carbon footprint, right? She's very concerned about how much her actions are impacting the environment. Through that example of not taking an airplane and using a boat instead, not taking a car but walking or riding your bike or taking public transit instead, these actions help to reduce emissions. To reduce something means to make it less. Okay? So specifically, you are making the amount of gas that you produce less. The amount of fossil fuels that you are burning should be decreased. Many companies should work harder to reduce emissions. Another great way to reduce emissions is by using renewable energy. Renewable energy specifically refers to types of energy that you are using that are not depleted. They're not used up when you are using them. So renewable energy includes things such as solar power and wind power. Okay? Non-renewable sources include things such as fossil fuels like coal or oil or gas. So why should we care about all these environmental issues? Why should we listen to environmentalists? This is because your actions today have an impact. Impact means effect on, right? So an impact or an effect on not just people now, but also future generations, the people who are continuing to live after you. In addition, it also affects and has an impact on wildlife, animals and plants. Many animals have become endangered as a result of pollution. Endangered means that they are in danger of becoming extinct. Some species of plants and animals have already become completely extinct. Extinct means that they no longer exist. They are gone forever. If you don't want to see more plants and animals becoming endangered and extinct, if you don't want the human race to become extinct, you need to care about the environment. In Canada, we have something called the 3 R's that are taught to children in school. And these 3 R's are what you should remember to try and think about protecting the environment. The 3 R's are reduce, reuse, and recycle. So reduce, use less of things. Single-use plastics, bad idea. Use a cloth bag instead of a plastic bag when you go to the grocery store. Okay? Reduce. The second R is reuse. This means that when something is finished, don't just throw it away. Find another use for it. See how you can reuse that item. And the third R is recycle. Don't just put paper and plastic and cardboard in the garbage. In most places, there is a special recycling area for those items. So today, you learned a lot of different vocabulary all about the environment. Hopefully this vocabulary will help you to understand the news more, understand some political discussions which may be happening around you. And if you're taking a test like IELTS or TOEFL, this vocabulary will probably most definitely be on that test. So I recommend reviewing the vocabulary from today's lesson. And now it's time for question of the day. Today's question is, what can you do to save and protect the environment? What can you do to reduce your carbon footprint? Let me know what actions you can take in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Mina, thank you. Ganbatte ne. Ja ne.